I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a. I can help. I
Yeah.
have a little bit of knowledge. I could try and help.
Oh,
Looking for anything that might be of assistance.
She's like, she goes, I'm nay positive, but I think it's down this shaft. So, um, hey, here's the thing about Goliaths: they do not have dark vision.
oops.
Yeah, no. She goes, do either of you have torches?
I go, both of us.
Yes.
And I pull out my torch and look at you.
You
Like
go,
just holds it out and looks down at her.
okay. She's like, all right, I'll lead the way. Metal, I think that you should bring up the rear
Okay.
because Morgan's not so dunderheaded that he's not going to eventually pick the tail up.
Sure.
I guess that makes me the sandwich.
That means you're slack. Old Spain.
I'm not going to do that again. That was a bad idea. I didn't think it through.
I thought it was brilliant and you're amazing. So
Yeah, I honestly, like, whether from a character or as a DM, I thought that's actually really fucking clever. That's a really good idea.
yeah, that was really fucking cool.
I didn't
And in fact,
plan to succeed so
Also,
well.
you're getting called Wolfsbane by him forever now. That's also happening. So, you know.
Yeah, if he goes and tells that around the station, that's
Does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that in the report, he like reads that to people. Come on, that was amazing.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it's good that you had to sort of what do you call it, jury rig prestidigitation, because if you had the full use of actual thaumaturgy, like 20's a 20's a 20, right? But
Yeah.
it was just like thaumaturgy is meant to be like whispers and booming sounds and stuff like that. It's a more scary version of it.
Yeah.
But prestidigitation has I'm going to just clean up the whole party. We're all a mess. Boom, everybody's clean. It's which thaumaturgy does not have anything even close.
Look at this cool trick.
Yeah, I mean,
is.
Honestly, prestidigitation and thaumaturgy and druidcraft are all, those three cantrips are like your own personal special effects departments.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you head into the shaft with torchlight, and the shaft splits in a couple of places, and Vikma takes a second. Oh, and she goes, "Oh, got it." And you track for another while, and then I need to roll. He's not doing great. And as you're sort of going down, it's getting weirdly warm and kind of humid down here, because that's what it's like down in mines. Is the earth holds on to temperature as you go down, and it's humid for whatever reason. And while you are submerged in super hard rock, you are still close to the river. There's not necessarily any leakage or anything in here, but you are like, this is an interesting place to be diving this deep and cutting in the direction of the river. But okay. So after not that long, she slows everything real, like we're not running here, right? She slows things down for a bit, and then you guys roll. Hang on a second. Perception with advantage.
Okay, because we're all together. Advantage, not disadvantage.
$16.
I got a 19 all day.
Okay. You hear very faintly a voice speaking giant. You hear the Winter Wolf's voice that you heard the other night speaking giant, and then you hear a second Winter Wolf voice speaking back to it.
Oh shit.
Vikma?
And Vikman turns and goes, in common.
What did she say?
There's two.
Yeah. Merle goes, yeah.
And she signals, she's like, we're gonna wait here. They've heard us. And you see you recognize the one from last night, although like, yeah, I mean, all white wolves with blue eyes and blue steam coming off of it. I don't know how well you're going to differentiate. But
this one's probably got some red splotches on it.
Yeah, this one it looks like it's healed somewhat, but
it's been punched in the face several times.
Right. But it also looks like somebody hacked at it with a big ass long sword.
Yeah.
And Vikma specifically has not, like, there's no swing in her greatsword here, but she's not drawn her short sword either. So you hear footsteps padding up, and in common, the grumble, or actually it says something in giant, and Vikma, and it's just beyond the torchlight. And Vikma responds, we are not here to hurt you, in common. And you hear the voice from beyond the torchlight, and you can see its eyes. And you know how animal eyes glow that sort of yellow or whatever? These ones are doing a blue reflection thing. And it says, lies. The people here stole us and brought us here, and then came to kill us. But our revenge was just. They stole us. And she says, I know, but they're not here to kill you, but you may need to be taken somewhere. I need to be taken nowhere. I must defend the young. She goes, you hear say, do you have a new litter? And she says, and it says, I do. I will not leave. I must defend the young.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
That was fortuitously timed.
What?
I said something just happened, and I said that was fortuitously timed. Both of you roll perception checks with advantage. The DC is 20.
No. I got a 16 all day.
I don't trust that I'm gonna make shit. And I rolled a 1, 18, best I could do.
Vikma's all over that shit. She turns to you and sort of does that whisper shout thing. She goes, did you hear that? I think Morgan's outside, but I think he's lost the trail. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck.
Call the tiefling quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Erie's gonna key her badge for the move. Temerity, we've got the wolves. But Valengrim's here. I don't want a showdown.
Temerity, so this is sending. So Temerity actually responds in your head, which is maybe the first time that you realized you could send this back telepathically. It doesn't have to go through the badge. And in both of your heads, she goes, okay, where are you? Also, did you say wolves?
Yeah.
So yeah, now she keys because I don't want to keep making you. And she goes, okay, I actually am back in headquarters. I see where you are. Stay put.
Okay.
We're just gonna hold tight here. That's all we're gonna do. It did not, for some reason, reset my badge charges.
Yeah, both of you go back up to full charges. It doesn't because your charges reset at dawn. They're not based on a long rest or anything. That's what I was saying with the other item. I figured out how to do that, so it will automatically reset. So you're both back at full. So yeah, that full charges, which is a thing I forgot when I said I don't want to keep making you. Because remember, each time you use it, it's out and back, right?
Yes.
So to keep going, somebody has to keep keying.
Right.
Well, she responds back with, we'll hold tight here. There's 2 adults and a litter. If we don't de-escalate, it's going to get bad.
She says, got it.
Shit.
Okay. All right, you guys are waiting here.
Yeah.
Vikma, the last thing Vikma says to the wolf is, we're waiting for the chieftain. We will not let the small killer come for you. And the wolf responds, we shall see, Ranger. So Vikma turns around and like she doesn't have her wherever she's been lodging is where the main part of her pack and shit is, right? So she doesn't have her bow or anything. She has her great sword and her short sword. She maybe has. Oh, that is not the right character.
I have a light crossbow.
Yeah. Okay.
Aries gonna offer it up and go, I'm terrible with it.
Okay. Well, she loads it, and you guys wait for a lot of tense moments, and
Here comes Challenger.
no.
Oh.
Like you're just waiting and waiting. And he does not seem to materialize. He's.
I didn't want to have to kill a sergeant that day on the job. So much. It is a thing Merle says to his partner.
Yeah, no, it's a fully valid.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it either. That's why I'm not keeping the crossbow.
Yeah.
Both of you roll perception with advantage.
Okay.
Let's see how that works out.
It's been working. My rolls have been so lovely tonight. Let's see how they go now. Here comes that double one.
Oh, I got a
I
19.
got a 24. I rolled a 19. Well,
Okay. After a solid 20 minutes, outside, you hear Morgan in Dwarvish go, fuck. And then you hear, shortly thereafter, you hear footsteps running. And they get closer and then they slow back down. And then it becomes hard to hear him again.
They get closer, they slow down, and it's hard to hear them once they've slowed down. But it
They
seems
slow
like
down like he's walking, that like he's not even full walking. He's like walking quite slowly.
yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, it definitely sounded like he got closer. Is everyone just staying where they are, or
Yeah, because if we go out of here, we betray our position. That said, okay, he's standing at not the mouth, but he's standing in the tunnel.
you guys are a great, remember, you're in a branch off of that initial tunnel. So
Mhm.
you're a ways in here.
sound carries quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm keeping myself ready.
Yeah.
I'm not going out to chase him down. Temerity knows where we are. I've called her. Let's see what my hopeful girlfriend has to say.
Also, yeah, we don't have to speak out loud to send. We can speak telepathically. So make no noise.
Okay, you hear a bunch of footsteps. Well, not a bunch. You hear much more urgent footsteps. Where is that? Oh, so close. What? Sorry, D&D Beyond just went, I rolled something for Temerity and I got a little blip at the top of the screen and said, Inspector Sergeant Morgan Fallengrim just rolled 24 insight. I'm like, no, he didn't. What the fuck just happened?
The fuck?
And it's not, that's got to be from a long time ago.
Yeah, it was when we were sitting in the.
Yeah, it's from 8:45, but it's an hour and 15 minutes ago, but it just popped up. But like in the context of what I know is happening outside this fucking mine shaft, I'm like, D&D Beyond just took over my NPC. Okay.
This is not good.
That guy really wants to kill this wolf.
Yeah.
No.
Serious.
Let's see, what does she do? Oh, that's what she does. All right, you hear some footsteps rushing around, and then in a loud booming voice, you hear Temerity Vorlance go, what does she say?
I'm keen to find out.
This is Haven City Prosecutor Temerity Vorlance. Any inspectors in the mines need to show themselves immediately.
That'd be us three.
Yes, there we
And
go.
she's gonna head up towards the main Before she walks off, she's going to turn and look back towards the darkness that the wolf's speech came from, and she's going to go, "We really don't mean you harm. This is the best compromise I could find. I'm sorry I couldn't do better." And then she's going to walk back up to the main hall, the main spur, branch.
Actually, and Merle says, so do I.
Merle says, so do I what? To what?
After she speaks, I wish I could do better. And Merle says, so do I.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
I have checked. I am not blurry. I'm now checking my camera every now and again.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll tell you when you're blurry.
Bitch, I will let you know.
On your way out of the mines, roll perceptions with advantage.
How about I do poorly there with a 14 all day?
In the game log, like your rolls always come up right away, and Ance's like I get 3 dots for a while.
And I'm rolling. Am I rolling as well?
Yes.
I'm
You said
rolling.
both of us perception advantage.
Okay.
Didn't you just do that?
Yeah.
No, I'm not seeing it in the.
No,
Oh, okay.
I did not. Yeah, I made a 19, but I also rolled a 1 again.
Advantage.
With
Yeah.
advantage, I made a 19. Yeah.
But it does the animation even if you have advantage and the 1 isn't a fatal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using those dice too instead of rolling the anvil dice because they make less noise. You hear her say again, Morgan, this is Haven City Prosecutor Temerity Vorlance. All inspectors present need to show themselves. Morgan, if you're here and you don't show yourself and something happens to those winter wolves, I'll hold you accountable even if I can't prove it. Between you, what's the marching order heading out now? Is it Ari, Merle, Vikma?
It's Merle up front. And then Eric.
Harry
and
in
then
the
Big
back.
Mom.
No,
Yeah,
Harry's in the back.
You're in the back? Okay.
Why are you in the
Because-
back?
Specifically because Vikma might be on edge, especially with the last thing that Temerity called out, and might be thinking of hanging back and getting a little squirrely. And we've come so far.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let a little bit of insensibility take us all off course now. So I'm in the back. So if Temerity looks like not Temerity, Vikma looks like she's considering turning back the fuck around, I can chivvy her forward. I'm just keeping an eye on stuff in case anyone starts feeling froggy. That's why. Also, it's gonna take me longer.
Well, there's that, right?
My legs are so short. My legs
She's
are
so wee.
And it's just, I gotta scurry. Because I move very
Scurry.
fast. I'm a covetous little halfling who scurries about.
Okay.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
Between Merle and Vikma,
Yeah.
Morgan seems to step out of shadows.
All right.
And he looks at Vikma and he turns and looks at you because he can't, it's hard for him to look past Vikma to you,
Yeah.
Eric. So you vent to the tiefling. And he
Yeah.
turns and looks at Vikma for a second, and he goes,
And the tiefling deputized her.
"Do you say that?"
Yep.
Then let's go all comply with the prosecutor then. Ah, there you go. And then he just walks. He fully expects you guys to all wait so that he can be in front of him. And he walks out, whistling.
Is it a cheery little tune? Perhaps something to do while he works?
Yeah. Well,
No, it's not that. It's the song. What is? Fuck, Anthony knows who it is. The one who was Lieutenant Dangle in Reno 911 and from the state.
Thomas Lennon.
Thomas Lennon. It's the thing that Thomas Lennon whistles when he goes, call me old fashioned, but I say that when the giant.
Yeah, when he's that guy. Yeah.
So he's like, he's just. That sounded a little bit like Hogan's Heroes, and that's not what I meant. But
Anthony knows who he is. Anthony fucking loves Thomas Lennon so
Yeah.
much.
yeah. So you guys all go walking out, and you guys all go out and you sort of present yourself, and she is there. And it's not immediately clear how she got there at this point. She sees you. She's up like up a half a spiral. She comes down, and inspectors, I see that you all found the Winter Wolves. That's fantastic. I think we only need the inspectors whose case this is. So Sergeant Fallon Grimm, thank you so much for the assist on this. You may head back to quarters or get back on your own case or whatever you need to do. And he...
What?
The look of the shifting eyeballs that I can't do behind my glasses very well, but it was we all saw.
What, me? My head moving?
No,
I'm sitting here looking on.
very squirrely. Yeah.
Okay. And he goes, of course, Madam Prosecutor, but I mean, technically, this is still an inspector matter, and I am the ranking inspector. And she says, well, technically, this is a legal matter, and I am the chief law enforcement officer of Haven City. So, technically, and she doesn't quite get in his face. But yeah, there's I think she has. Oh no, not that kind of aura. Okay. She's like, so technically, I think you should take this win, head back, and as she head back to the headquarters and finish your reports. That's what I think you should do. And he goes, it's the wisdom of the prosecutor. I will see you all later. And he starts to head back up the mine.
We were going to be at odds with him anyway.
That was
I didn't
unavoidable.
say that out loud. I was
What's
doing
that?
the in my head.
I didn't know you were in your head again. I'm sorry.
Do you have is my side of the video hidden so you can see your character sheet?
Yeah, sorry.
Fair. It's okay.
Oh, that's fine. That's really funny. What did Merle say? I mean, he didn't say it
We
now.
were going to be at odds with that guy anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, we made a terrible enemy today. We were going to be at odds with that guy anyway. Merle has no problem with being on the wrong side of that motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that guy sucks, so fuck it. Okay, so she said, she looks at Vikma and says, "Do you think you can?" So tell me again. There's a litter. And Vikma says, I think this was a mated pair that was taken, and so, I mean, the winter wolf took revenge for being stolen, as it calls it, and then I'm sure was afraid that the poachers would come and find it again, and it's young, so decided it needed to take them out ahead of time. And she's like, I see. Okay, well, I guess I need to go meet this thing. And take me to it. And you guys enter the thing and you have torches, and she looks at the torches and she goes, okay. And she have I shown you?
Yes.
I've shown you that picture of her, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember it.
All right.
but- Show me.
All right. Let me bring up Hero Forge.
Do you have an account with Hero Forge yet?
I do.
Yeah.
So she just, like, she's not carrying the book, but she is carrying her sword. She just grabs her pauldrons, her shoulder armor, and just casts light on her shoulder armor.
Because why fuck around?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like.
You have to stop flirting with Yuri.
What was I going to say? I really think that, in whatever sense it could possibly be said about her, she's not a paladin of Tyr. She is a devout adherent of Tyr, but she is a crown oath of the crown paladin. So, like,
I know what they are.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, she, you believe in good and you believe in the law. Like, Temerity believes in the Geldar Union, and Temerity believes in Haven City, and, like,
Yeah,
draws that sort of divine presence from there. So you guys walk down, and Vikma says it speaks giant and common. And Temerity says, well, then common will have to do. And you go down there, and the wolf is kind of waiting at that point and sees the magical light as well as the torchlight coming down the passageway, and it's still standing there with its mouth kind of open, and Merle's like super, like, that wolf's getting ready to flood this mine shaft with some ice. And Temerity says,
That.
I'm sorry.
I recognize that face.
Yeah.
Take cover.
Yeah,
halfling.
Temerity says, looks at Vikma and goes, do they have names? And she's like, only in that language, which we wouldn't be able to speak. And she says, very well. hello. I'm Temerity Vorlance. I'm in charge here for right now. In our system of laws, you have been greatly wronged. However, your actions in response have also broken our law. And the wolf's hackles start to go up. Like, oh, well, I know how we deal with law breaking where I come from.
Yeah.
And Temerity goes, hold on. So why don't you explain to me what happened? And then we'll see what we have to do to follow the law here. In the meantime, if it's okay with you, the ranger will guard your mate and your litter. And Vikman, the wolf looks over at Vikman, and Vikman nods, and they exchange some words in Giant. And the wolf asks in common, and its hackles go down, and the wolf asks in common, and what shall happen to me if I did break your laws? Well, that will depend on another person. And I can't say for sure. You could be found justified. You could be found needing punishment. Or, well, punishment can take several forms here. And the wolf considers and sort of looks back. Do you swear by the winds and the ice and the snow that my mate and my litter shall go free? Temerity goes, yes, I can make you that promise. And it does that. I think I've seen Daisy do it, that thing where she goes, when she's like, yes.
Jaws go blue.
Yeah. And it goes, and it sits down very
It's
well.
harumph. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. I said, don't harumph at me. I say it to her all the time.
Oh, do you? And it sits down and goes, very well, Horn Chieftain. And Temerity looks at Vikma, and Vikma's just like,
and Merle actually puts his hands on his hips and looks at her and goes, I like that.
let us begin your justice. And she's like, well, it doesn't happen here.
It's very slow and stupid.
Yeah. It's like, and Vikma actually takes a second. Well, it's intelligent and it does understand language, but it doesn't really understand civilization, all the parts of your society. And Temerity's like, got it. So it takes a while, and she explains, you're gonna have to come with me into a more populated place, and it's like more of the people, and it's not really thrilled with that idea. But it eventually submits. So the short term of this is that, well, actually, fuck it. I'll just, I'm going to say this is
Insane? Yes.
yes, it's definitely insane, but
We'll send you to the Palmars. The wolf can stand trial.
Yeah.
Fuck.
okay. The first hurdle, no, I'm like, well, this is insane. And I'm like, she's a really good attorney, but this is a disadvantage role. However, so the female,
Is there a disadvantage roll that's going to take place?
yeah, in court. Oh, do you want to level it?
Yeah, I can do restore balance. When a creature I can see within 60 feet of me is about to roll a d20 with an advantage or disadvantage, I can use my reaction to prevent the roll from being
Okay. So you go before the magistrate just so she can make the argument to, like, here's why this furry monster from the South Ron Mountains should get to stand trial. And the magistrate's like, the magistrate goes full on like, oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
And like, you see that she's up against, like, you see that, and you're like, oh, I'm going to restore the
No
balance.
fucking way am I letting you set this precedent, is what the magistrate's doing.
Yeah.
It's-
Like, oh, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this, Miss Vorlance. And then you with your clockwork soul, and you see like, oh, this is in balance because the scales are already tipped. The scales of justice are already tipped against. So what was barely going to meet the DC now very much meets the DC. Like, and you give her enough. And actually, I could have argued like, no, it didn't. But yeah, and the magistrate goes like, okay, I want to meet the creature. Like,
Yeah.
like, okay. So in the background, you guys figure out this is probably going to take a full week to get through all these procedures, just to get to the initial ones, right? And the females asked, like, basically, they're like, do you want to wait and see what happens to your mate, or do you want to stay? Then no, that's what I just said. Or do you want to just start the journey home? And she's like, and the female goes, I need to nurse for a little bit. The little ones can't go.
Right.
And so what ends up happening is, out of her own pocket, Temerity basically finds a stable barn sort of thing that she kind of pays for the farmer to just kind of look the other way and stay the fuck out for a while. And Vikma and the female go and sort of sequester themselves for a bit.
I
you-
will set up routine food deliveries.
Sure. You two are both needed at like every step of this legal process. So
Yeah,
there is-
and yeah, Merle's not going anywhere. I mean,
yeah, well, my point is there is no visiting.
yeah.
Also, like, hey, I punched your husband in the jaw 4 times.
Well, Erie trusts Everard, and she's going to tell Temerity they need to be provided with food. I have somebody who I can trust who can handle the delivery. We don't have to involve headquarters in case there's a split of opinion. His name's Everard Cooper. I need revenge on him. He donated a number of my books.
So how are you going to get revenge on him?
By making him deliver food routinely to this remote area.
Oh, I got it.
He doesn't like having to leave the house. He's going to have to leave the house so much. I'm going to be able to stick all of the windows open. It's going to be great.
Okay. The magistrate says, so the next step, and this takes like a full day later, because like Temerity's really genuinely concerned about keeping him in any of the cells, because she really doesn't trust Fallon Grimm. Morgan, she doesn't trust Sergeant Fallon Grimm. So
Trust Sergeant Fallon Grimm. Also, Merle to the wolf, and he says, I'm sure you won't understand this. I'm gonna give you my oath.
Oh, God damn it.
I won't let any harm come to you before you
Lie
stand
to you.
trial.
she goes, actually,
And
that's
he
a
goes,
really
means a lot to me.
that's a really fantastic idea, Inspector Sanderman. is there some canine handlers somewhere that you on the Isle of Dogs that you trust where that could sort of secret him away while we're waiting in between court dates?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you set that up. So
Yeah.
like a day and a half after the initial, like, so here's why this wolf should be able to stand, should be considered to be able to stand trial. And, you know, Ari tips those scales back into balance. And then the judge says, okay, fine, I want to, all right, this sounds like a
I will
compelling
entertain this
argument.
sense. Continue.
Yeah. All right, I want to meet this creature. So, Temerity then, so the reason it takes a full day and a half later is because Temerity initially completely fails to convince the judge that the judge is like, no, bring him to the chambers. And Temerity's like, no, that's a really bad idea. And the judge sort of responds with a version of thin fucking ice, Miss Vorlance. And she's like, okay. And then brings in a large draft horse and says, this animal is not as big as the one you're talking about, and has to resort to theatrics. And then the magistrate goes, I see your point. Okay, where do you want to go? And then she goes, oh, we're going to go over to the Isle of Dogs. Yes.
Have you spoken to Rob about the guy getting maced with Axe body spray? Oh God. Okay. Next time you ask, next time you
courtroom demonstration
about it. What's that?
Okay. Say what you said. Sometime ask Rob about it.
But basically, Rob was about to get maced with Axe body spray in court before the judge stopped him because he was trying to prove a point about it. And just went, wait, no, don't fucking do that.
Okay, fine. Where do you believe
You fucking lunatic. No.
Okay. So, you know, that gets slowed down because Temerity's got to resort to some courtroom theatrics to like just come to another building, right? And
Right.
But it's not another building, is it? It's like 3 or 4 districts over, and it's Isle of Dogs, and the judge is like, or the magistrate's like, what the actual fuck is happening? So where is this? The judge comes out and you know, goes into wherever it is that you're hiding him, and the wolf is the fucking winter wolf. It's not, I mean, it is a pretty frightening looking creature. It's also not the most charismatic creature ever, right? So the judge goes and asks it a couple of questions, and actually the handlers must be really working with it because it doesn't do bad for the first 15 or 20 questions. It's like, well, I studied at Juilliard. No, it doesn't do that. But you can see after about a dozen questions, it starts to lose its patience.
Yeah.
And Temerity, do some of that lawyer shit, Mav.
And again, I'm going to keep doing the restore balance.
If you
she's
see
at
a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that, how many times do you get to do that?
I can do it twice per
Long rest?
in between long rests.
Okay. Well, you've had a long rest since the last time. So go ahead and burn one of them. So you can't give advantage or disadvantage. You can only take it away, right?
Right.
Okay.
If
So she
there
gets
were
a straight roll now.
Yeah, if there was somebody arguing against it, I might take away the advantage they have. For Temerity, I'm canceling out the disadvantage.
Well, right now, right, this is not an oppositional procedure yet. This is just like, can this animal even stand trial, right? And the judge has to make the call, but you had to convince the judge to even entertain the notion in the first place. Both of you make your choice. No, actually, that's not better. Both of you make, the judge asks you a couple of questions, and I will let you You're getting the help action from Temerity, and you can, your choice. You can either roll law and procedure, persuasion, or performance. And you get it with advantage. So you pick of those three: law and procedure, persuasion, performance.
Law and procedure, and I'm rolling it, and I got a 22 all day.
Okay. And
Persuasion. I know I don't have a sandwich in my hand.
it's fine.
So you lose your advantage. No, kidding.
Not quite. 24
Jesus.
all day.
Yeah. You make really compelling arguments, and the judge is asking you questions about the case. The judge is asking Temerity. There's at least, not at least, there are, during this whole time, the Winter Wolf harumps 4 times. Harumps a D 4 times. And you guys have done so well that you've given her back advantage instead of flat roll.
Nice.
Excellent.
And she argues her fucking ass off to the point of like citing precedents, this and that, and arguing legal theory. She loses you a couple of times. Just on not on intelligence, but charisma and expertise. She just leaves you in the dust a couple of times. What did Anne say?
Anne said she whats us a couple of times, and I told him she loses us, meaning, wow, she's good. Look at her go. We know she's really good because we don't understand.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what is she talking about?
Wait, I see how she circled back around. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you get with her, and he goes, okay. So, inspectors, Mr. Wolf, Miss Vorlance, I'm convinced this creature meets the intelligence, the sentience criteria to be able to stand trial. You have made compelling arguments based on the history of the Union and cited some frankly pretty esoteric precedents around what the laws of our land and the spirit of our culture permit for sentient creatures taken into bondage, in terms of securing that freedom from recapture and reindenture. So what we're going to do is we are going to, in 2 weeks, so this wolf will be remanded to the custody of where they are for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we will resume trial here, where the wolf will be charged with inciting to riot and the counts of murder. And then the case will be dismissed on the grounds of, and cite something in Old Dwarvish that is sort of a Latin version of that in Latin, which is in Old Dwarvish means all slaves may set themselves free. Now, this is not going to be a public trial, and it will be quietly entered into the records of precedence. And yeah, and I think that the people in this room who need to know why that we're doing this quietly, yeah, I think we all understand that. And if we don't understand that, you can take that up with Miss Vorlance. or it means something like us. All slaves may do whatever they must to set themselves free. Something
Free.
along those lines.
Yeah, that used to be the reason why if a prisoner in America escaped from prison, they would not be re-imprisoned. Uh, actually, at one time, how the law worked in America.
Okay, Aries said, holy shit, it worked.
Yeah.
I can't believe it worked. I can't believe it worked.
And actually, Merle
awesome.
starts to cry.
Um,
Once the magistrate has said his piece and she's
do you start to cry before the magistrate leaves?
Yeah.
The magistrate is sort of walking sort of past you and like puts his left hand on your left shoulder, so it's on the outside. You're standing outside each other, not face to face, but offline, if you know what I mean. And he goes, I understand, but steady on, Inspector. And then he leaves.
Yeah.
And one last thing he does say, he said this before, Josh forgot it, but he goes, at that time when the case is dismissed, this South Ron Ranger, and the South Ron Ranger and the inspectors will escort this creature and this person doesn't feel right, to the city limits, and then the South Ron Ranger will escort it back to their domain. They will have, I will issue a writ of passage for the ranger to take, so if they're stopped in any. Yeah.
thank you, Your Honor.
Honor, yeah.
Injustice abide, Your Honor.
Temerity seems to really exhale for the first time since they
Earl goes back to crying. He really
yeah, Temerity seems to really exhale since the first time you guys went to court, which is like 3 days ago. And like you for the first time noticed that she looks really tired, that she's got bags under her eyes, that paladin posture is all drooped, and she's just like and what she pulled, you would, to follow it all, you would have had to have made each 3 law and procedure DC 20 checks successfully and 2 history DC 20 checks. I mean, that's the amount of prep work she gets into this. I'm not going to get into the mechanics. You don't need to know. That removes the mystique. And in case it was just, she had to pull like
all this shit.
She had to pull from all the fuck over the place and then work that natural charisma to its absolute limit. Like, this was not just fact. This was fucking compelling courtroom shit. So I don't know if I did. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ants.
It's like watching somebody argue before the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court isn't stacked against actual justice or reason.
Right.
Yeah. And he goes, well done, Horn Chieftain.
Aries gonna say that was amazing. I don't know how you made it work. That was really, really amazing.
Thank you. That's a lot of case law that I didn't think I was ever going to need, but
you did great.
Thank you.
Do you want to get dinner at some point?
Sure, but not today.
No.
I'm going to go to my apartment and pass out. I'm going to take all of this off and I'm going to go and pass out.
Yeah.
So, for the next 2 weeks, let's make sure that I will you two need best you can surreptitiously to kind of keep an eye on Fallon Grimm as well as you can. He may give up on it as a done thing, or he may just decide to vent his frustration at you two instead of continuing to try to get the wolf.
Right.
Inspector Sanderman, I'm sorry?
I'm gonna bet on that.
Yeah. Inspector Sanderman, I would make sure somebody's paying active attention to this barn or this kennel.
Just the woman,
Huh?
my wife.
No, but I missed the first part, Ants.
I have just the woman.
Oh, okay.
And then when she went, huh? He goes, my wife.
Okay. Excellent then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're married. Congratulations. Yeah. So we just got to get through the next 2 weeks and then to the city limits, and then it's done. We're done.
He does look at the wolf at some point after the conversation with her and says, it's only fair that you meet my wife and daughter. I've met yours.
I have more than one. You only have one?
I only have the one.
Ah, yes. The 2 legs, you only have the one at a time, mostly.
Yes. And he does. He puts his wife and daughter there, and then is going to ask anyone at the kennel willing to also put in time. Any of his fighting fellows also willing to guard.
How many? I don't know if we've ever established like how many fighting fellows. What is your total enrollment at the kennel? Let's put it that way.
I would say the kennel's not big. The orphanage that his wife is from, his name escapes me at the moment, is bigger. But the kennel has a few, more than a handful.
Can I have a number, please?
20. I'm going to say
Okay.
20. And that's actual monks. On top of that, you have them training
Acolyte.
non-monks. You have them training people in, simple weapon proficiency and shit.
All right. Well, I just rolled a d12 and a full dozen of your kennel siblings go, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Do we get to talk to it?
Do I not?
Him, I guess.
Him. Yeah. Now, what's it called? No. Don't embarrass yourself. Sir. I think sir works. That's what I've been going with.
Mr. Wolf. Yeah.
Mr. Wolf.
Temerity's like, you've both done really well. I'm not sure another team of inspectors would have dealt with this in the same way. Oh, I have put so much into this that I have not really been able to follow up with the measle. So yeah, that's going to have to be a fight for another day.
I'm certain you'll win that one too when you take it on.
Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in me. That's very kind.
Okay.
She yeah, she is exhausted. I'm sorry, Ants.
I went squee, and then I went yes.
No,
it was all headcanon. It was not.
Yeah, no, I got it. She once all that settled out, she is exhausted and she leaves and heads home or goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay. I'm gonna be here. I will see you at the office tomorrow. Trust my fighting brothers. I'm still gonna be spending a lot of time here.
Yeah,
But we have to keep an eye on Fallinger.
I know. It's not good. I should have found a better way to work us through that.
You know,
I feel like there was another way we could have fixed this that would have been less.
he goes,
I'll keep looking.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna hug you now. Please don't take this as a, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And he goes and he enfolds the tiny woman. He hugs her and he's not crying. He's just, he goes, I'm very glad they chose you as my partner. I don't know if I would have made this through with another.
Sure, you would have. You'd have come to the same spot. It just would have taken a little longer. Probably not as much good food either. I will say that for myself. I've helped us find all of the good sandwich spots.
The
So
best restaurants.
you do
Yes,
owe me for that one. We'll admit it.
I do.
Your wife and daughter look lovely and loud.
And here they come, and he's going to introduce them to.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello, child.
yeah,
I am looking eye to eye with you.
yeah.
How goes it?
Hello, giant human baby.
half orc baby.
Hello, giant half orc baby.
Why are you so large? Why am I so small? Something does not feel right. No, it will be polite introductions, hellos. Yes, a pleasure to meet you. I apologize for the time. I'm gonna scream out here now.
Yeah. Your wife is a. I don't remember her name. I know it's in your backstory note somewhere, but she's a sun soul.
It's Eurydice.
Oh yeah,
No.
and Eurydice is way of the sun. She's a sun soul monk.
Yeah, and better than him.
All right. Well, I rolled a 1 twice, so only one of Eurydice's siblings.
Comes to help. Okay, well, you know, what are you gonna do? They're not called the Kimmel.
They're like, ew, dog stuff. That's for your husband's people. Okay. In the intervening 2 weeks, a couple things happened. So, for starters, there is a thing you learn in the academy. And the thing you learn in the academy is that in the history of the Constable Inspector's office, no inspector has ever been taken by surprise. Not ever. Not once. And you come to find out that is because after solving their first case, their first major case, God damn it, constable inspectors receive what's called their inspector weapon. This is a weapon of warning of your choosing. Now, since you are a mage, what it is it is a magical weapon, and it has the insignia of it has on the hilt or somewhere on it, depending on the weapon, right? It has the shield on it, and it is. Do you both know what the magical weapon is when it has the warning?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. So I will read you off of one of the NPCs. So this magic weapon warns you of danger. While on your person, you have advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, you and any of your companions within 30 feet can't be surprised except when capacitated by something other than non-magical sleep. The weapon magically awakens you and your companions within range if any of you are sleeping naturally when combat begins.
Neat.
Neat.
So you become unsurprisable. Also, if you both refresh your character sheets, you have gotten to 4th level.
Woohoo!
So and Ares still has more hit points than Merle.
Ares gonna continue having more hit points than Merle.
Well, Merle might. So you're both 4th level. So this is what both of you, with the two of you, is Ari, you can have. Oh shit! Are we all frozen?
No,
No.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Sorry, I was
Anthony
just
froze, and I had half of the meat covered. So look at weapons you can carry easily. Like Ari already has a couple of daggers, so a dagger of warning wouldn't be hard. And for Merle, it could be, I think daggers count as monk weapons, but you have a short sword, so you could have a short sword of warning as well.
You would like a short sword of warning, yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put that on. Ari, you decide what you want. It
Dagger.
doesn't, I was going to say, it doesn't have to be a dagger. I think you have simple weapons, right?
yeah, but she's
Oh no, you have light crossbows. Oh, crossbow, light, dagger, dart, quarterstaff, sling. So yeah, dagger probably makes the most sense for you.
yeah.
I also went ahead and raised my dexterity and wisdom to 18.
Okay, so you're going to do the stat bump and not a feat?
Yeah. So my armor class goes to 18, that's why.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What did you do, dex and wisdom? Oh, you bumped them both to 18. Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do a stat bump, you decide. If you want a feat, just talk to me about it first so we can make sure it makes narrative sense.
Yeah, I went with with dex and wisdom because he doesn't want to be punched in the face quite so often anymore.
He could do with less of that.
Also, Temerity is being called Horn Chieftain and Erie's being called Wolfsbane from now on.
Do you tell that?
Oh yes, he tells that around the office. She is Wolfsbane. That is who she is. That thing ran from her. I don't care what everyone else said. It ran in abject terror from her. Either that or it was afraid. Either that or it was afraid I was going to hurt myself and just couldn't stand the thought. One of those two things happened.
Ari is still stuck in disbelief that her desperate gamble to try and get everybody out of this without charges
Yeah,
actually fucking worked.
that was pretty cool. Ooh, and I got an extra key point. Neat.
Yeah, 4th level is a pretty good level for most classes.
Yeah. Slow fall. Did I have that before? I did not have that before.
So yeah, slow fall is your new thing. In addition, no, your proficiency bonus stays the same. When you hit 5th, your martial arts die will go to 6 instead of D4s.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more key point. Your unarmored movement also. Oh no, it's still at +10.
It's still at 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's no, the big thing that came with this, I was waiting for 4th level so I could go to plate armor AC. That was what I was waiting on.
So going to 4th, Ari gets one more sorcery point, one more cantrip known, and one more spell known, and gets a 3rd 2nd level slot. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then next level, next bump, if we ever get there,
We will.
he's going to take a feat that raises his strength up another point. There's a couple, but
I was going to say, why don't you just take the ability increase and split it again, but that puts your strength at a 20 and everything else at an in between.
yeah. he might raise his con to 15 with the eye on eventually, having but no, I think he's gonna take a strength thingy. Take a feat. That makes sense narratively. Oh.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Sure. I also picture the winter wolf saying, "Don't bring your child here again. Its hands are sticky for no reason, and it believes everything belongs to it."
It kept trying to put my tail in its mouth. It was undignified for everyone. I was embarrassed on its behalf. That was cruel of you.
What does "take my order" mean?
Why does she keep calling me hun and asking if I need a top up? What is the purpose of the circular tray she carries? Why does she keep coming back? I can just see him slowly over 2 weeks, the course of 2 weeks by the end of it. Yeah, 2 greasy logs on a raft and some of the bitter, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
whatever.
Gonna be a plate of sand. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's gonna be another plate of sand.
A plate of sand? What? What did I
We're
miss?
having a conversation. We're pretending that the winter wolf said, "Do not bring your child here again." Its hands are sticky, and it kept trying to put its tail in its mouth. Also, and then we went into an extended bit where we were talking about Maddie. We were referring to Maddie, but my 2-year-old Persephone as
a waitress.
As a waitress, that's her new thing to play. She loves pretending she's a waitress.
Why
Why
does
she keep calling me hun? And
ask if I need a top up?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the circular tray she carries? And by the end of 2 weeks, why does she keep coming back? And by the end of 2 weeks, I'll take 2 greasy logs on a raft and top me up with the black bitter. It's fine.
It doesn't
it's
matter
just
what
be
you
a
say
plate
to
of
it.
sand.
It just brings another platter of sand.
Yeah. Okay.
Just slowly breaking the spirit
We're
of
hilarious.
its majestic
That's what-
creature.
So, so how did they solve the winter wolf case? Well, they successfully argued that it could stand trial.
Yeah.
And then they tortured it with the 2.5-year-old.
And then they got the Crown prosecutor to convince the magistrate to dismiss the case.
Yeah.
Right? And what did they do with the measle? Which I wasn't sure if I was going to include. Yeah, same thing. Like that was going to be that was going to be your fight, right? Like I cannot tell you how many times I play tested with just blank, generic 2/3 level characters. And I'm like, this is a very hard combat. And I'm like, okay, how can I ameliorate that? How can I mix it? And just things did not narratively play out. Like, no, we're going to give it citizenship. Okay.
It comes from, first of all, her, but also the argument you let. Just because she's in our city doesn't mean, just because she's from elsewhere doesn't mean she's not bound by the laws of our city.
Oh, you shouldn't have told us that.
you made that argument for her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret or think I said anything wrong. I was just like, yeah. Okay. So the next, so I was like, hey, where this kind of came from was Anthony going, yeah, I don't use a whole lot of monsters. When we don't play Hans, Carl, and Hildy, let's do just more monsters. And I'm like, ooh, a bug hunt. That'll be fun, a monster fight. And then how do Anthony and Becky fight monsters? They take them to court. I mean,
diplomacy.
It's really I love how that worked out. It was real frustrating the whole way through, and I genuinely was going. I kept getting really quiet because I was like, Hans Carl, fucking Merle is really chafing with a lot of this monster nonsense. Fuck you. It speaks language. It gets capacity to prove.
okay.
Yeah.
So So yes, totally, right?
Yeah,
Like the winter wolf, it specifically says, like winter wolves communicate with one another using barks and growls, but they speak common and giant well enough to follow simple conversations. Now,
Yeah.
it's in the stat block, its intelligence is 7. I'm like, that's a dumb human. Like, but dumb humans stand trial all the time.
All
So
the
Yeah.
time.
all the time.
and a fucking measles intelligence is 14. I'm like, yeah, that's not a fucking hard argument at all. And that's why I segued into the ecclesiastical courts. Like, no, the measles is batshit crazy. That's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna argue the measles can't stand trial. But again, it was also like in one of my bathroom trips, I'm like, but I'm kind of just following the measles sort of regular typical alignment. But being evil is not against the law. So I mean, until you break the law, right?
And the only crimes the measles has committed are the same ones the winter wolf has been accused of and had dismissed for the same reason.
Yeah, if the measles doesn't the measles has a much better chance of not being able to stand trial via insanity. Like, and so the law is not going to be the problem for the measles. It's going to be the church. It's going to be one of the churches going to be like, yeah, but it's from fucking, it's like, like they're not all evil, right? But we can detect good and evil and tell what it fucking is.
Yeah.
I've got to figure out what I think I want to do with that. So yeah, I'm like, oh, this is a really interesting way to do this. And like whether or not, yeah, never mind. This was me definitely have to vamp on the fly. It's like, oh, this is how we're gonna go. Okay, because I had Merle for a second. Morgan had Merle on that, like, but it's still committed crimes. It's still done murders. And you're like, but we don't just execute suspects. Meh. I mean, like,
it's like I'm making the argument to the wrong fucking guy.
yeah.
You
don't just execute. It's like, well, when they resist arrest violently, Morgan was very like, but they resist arrest, so we can employ lethal force. And he's not wrong. Like,
technically, they hadn't tried to arrest it yet.
Right. Well, but also Morgan was not in the place of like, I'm not putting handcuffs on this fucking wolf. I'm just gonna take it out, right? Which is not the most. I mean, that's a pretty much over the plate way of thinking, right? That's a pretty straightforward, understandable way of thinking. And then from the get-go, I was like, why is this wolf not just running?
Yeah.
Like, and so
it can't run.
Yeah. From the get-go, it was an mated pair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's been on the road either 2 months or 4 months. We'd have to go back and watch the video or look in the notes. But it's like, that's been long enough for it to the female to come to terms. So I was like, oh, okay. So it just can't back down. And then I was like, okay, well, they're going to take the wolf out but they're not going to find the female. And then what happens? And then like, no, they're going to find all of it. There's going to be civil procedures. This is going to be so much more like cop procedural than you ever thought was going to. This is the most Law and Order of anything anyway, of any of your cases so far. Yeah, this has been that was really cool and really fun.
Excellent.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, yes.
It was very fun.
Yeah, and if you hadn't, yeah, okay. Never mind. I don't want to do the thing.
No, go ahead. Tell us. It's cool.
Oh.
It was the post game. This is always fun.
So the measles have a pretty good natural shadow stealth.
Is measles? That's not its name.
Oh, it's what they are is a measle, right? But sort of like how Gollum is not its name, but everyone calls it that because it keeps saying it refers to itself as measles. So it's just measles the measle, right? It's not fuck you.
It's fine.
No, we just didn't know what it was.
I didn't know if that was the name of the creature type. Like it was a measle.
Oh, so that feels fair. Sure. Fuck us.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a dick. I didn't know what I did, but
fair.
sure, I'm willing to like that.
Yes. the creature is called, and the way that NPCs were responding to it, especially the ones like Temerity said to you, you have a measle, or you have a measle in custody, and maybe that wasn't coming through, right? So these creepy motherfuckers, and I was gonna go like, I love that Merle was getting really upset with them being referred to as monster. I'm like, well, they are technically a monstrosity.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But okay, so it's got stealth, and then it's got yeah, so it's got in the shadow stealth, while in dim, the measle can take the hide action. And so, like, yeah, that's great, but I just rolled terrible on its stealth. You guys weren't meant to see it.
Right.
And then how that was going to go way more horror film, was basically you were going to knock on the door. Who was that? Was that Kurna? Yeah, that was Kurna
Yes.
Butcherblade. And Kurna Butcherblade was going to open the door. Yes, can I help you? And the measle was going to teleport behind it with its garrote and just fucking pull it back into the house in a big, like, shadowy darkness shit, while choking the shit out of this fucking hobgoblin, and see whatever you guys did with it. And it was just going to be a fight with the measle, which is a challenge rating 1 creature, whereas the Winterwolf, I think, is challenge rating 3. And I'm like, that's why I was thinking about challenge ratings. I'm like, yes and no. I see that out in the open. I see the Winterwolf has more hit points. It has a breath weapon, yada, yada. In an urban setting where there's lots of dark shit and corners and alleys to hide behind, and this thing can just fucking use the hide action and kind of disappear. Like, I don't know. Maybe the measle's the scarier monster.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of riffed on Gollum and decided to make him sort of a Cockney loony who's like,
which was fun, honestly.
Yes.
That was, I didn't, like, you went way bananas when you thought I was nuts.
It was neat.
I went way bananas when what?
When you thought I was giving you shit. I was not giving you shit. I was just really asking a question.
We are curious about this creature.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And you know what? Fuck you. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's valid. That's totally valid. I accept your rebuke.
I accept your rebuke for my preemptive rebuke. We are all rebuked.
So, with a sorcerer, how does that, like, I know with a wizard, like, the amount of spells you can learn is not restricted by level, but with a, yeah, I don't know. So I know you get what, one, so obviously you're going to pick one more from the cantrip list, obviously, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then you have one more spell known, and then you just get more slots. So you get to pick one more, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it could be either first or second.
Yes. I can choose either from first or second. I have a total of 5 cantrips known, and I have 5 spells known. I have 4 first level spell slots and 3 second level spell slots, which I think I actually might need to adjust my spells down. No? Because that's clockwork. So there's 1, 2, 3.
What do you mean adjust them down?
I could know a total of at third level I could know a total of 4 sorceress spells, and I knew 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I was only at 4, so I can learn.
Yeah,
yes.
the bonus spells from Clockwork Soul don't count against, and you'll notice that, like, if you here, let me hang on a second. So this is one of the things I really like about using. So this is Airy, right? And so I'm going to filter to just be looking at cantrips, right? So you could learn any of them. So let's say you learned Mold Earth, like the rest of them go dim and you can't, right? So you can't screw it up. So then when you say first and second, like I think you can learn one more. So if you learned kinetic jaunt, then that's the one more that you can learn.
Yeah.
So you can pick either one, or not either one. So, but these pluses are ones that you can pick, but then there's others on your list that you just automatically get, like Expeditious Retreat,
Yeah.
and don't count against your spells learned
Hooray!
from Clockwork Soul.
I will go through and look. I will fiddle with it.
Yeah, and I don't know that you're allowed, like certain things with Warlock allow you to switch out your cantrips. I'm gonna let you do that research and decide if you want to do that. I don't know that you want to change any of your cantrips. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
but just follow rules as written for right now in terms of changing them. I know there's something when you hit a certain level at Warlock that you're allowed to like unlearn one cantrip and switch to another, or something along those lines that you're allowed to swap out spells. But as a crap guide to D&D, I'm going to stop recording. As a crap guide to D&D says, did you hear it stop recording when we hit the limit and then I had to start it up again?
Yes.